Good morning, everyone. We are continuing in the Shemes umagen laws of who a Kohen can marry and those type of interesting laws. So, let's say a lady is an Aguna, a lady who's married and husband runs away and he doesn't want to give his wife a get. So we try to do everything in our power to look into the case and see what we could do to free this lady. Similarly, if just in brackets, if someone chas shalom is a mamzer, we do everything we can to look into the case to see if really he is, or we could somehow figure it out for them. So one of the ways we figure it out for an aguna is if this guy runs away, he doesn't give a get. So we look into their marriage and we look into the witnesses of who signed their ketubah, who was the witnesses under the chuppah for the ring. And if we find that the witnesses were not kosher witnesses, they were not shomer Shabbat, they were related, etc., then it could undo the marriage. And that could free this aguna. Say, look, even though you got married, you had a nice wedding, you paid $100,000 for your wedding, whatever, but the chuppah, which is the main thing, the sign of the ketubah, whatever, it was not done kosher, and then that could free her. Now, obviously, if it was done kosher, it was done kosher. But we look into this situation. So Rabbi Shemes had a case where there was a Kohen who wanted to marry a divorcee. That's not allowed. Now he says, the divorcee says, this lady, yeah, it's known she was married, she got divorced, everything looked kosher, but I'm telling you, there was one witness that was not kosher. I'm telling you there's one witness that was not kosher. And I could prove it. And therefore, he said, I want to undo her wedding as if it never happened, and now let me marry her. So Rabbi Shemes says, if it was obvious that the wedding was not kosher wedding, if it was done by a reform or conservative, therefore we know for sure blatant non-kosher witnesses, so okay, there's maybe something what to talk about. But to a lady that things looked kosher, and then say a kosher rabbi married them, and so to now look into one of the witnesses and say, I'm telling you, this guy secretly is not shomer Shabbat, whatever it is. To do that for a Kohen to marry a divorcee, we don't look into things like that. Because, number one, they're not married. This lady's not stuck. She could go marry someone else. And we would only do this for, again, an aguna case. The husband runs away. Now we could really dissect into those witnesses. But to do it for a Kohen that just fell in love with this divorcee, it's going to, chas v'shalom, open the doors for other Kohanim to do such things. So we do not look into the wedding in that situation. It was known this lady was a divorced lady, etc. We leave things as is, and this Kohen cannot marry this lady. So that's the thing. What he's saying is, if it was known as a kosher wedding, let's say an Orthodox rabbi married them, and if it was known as a kosher wedding, he says not to look into it. He says not to look into it because we assume things were kosher. Now you want to dissect this one witness? He says I'm not going to do that because we don't want other Kohanim now going after divorced ladies, and it could lead to a bad ripple effect. And if the lady is stuck, she's an aguna, we do everything we can to look into the case. Or even in this case, if let's say the lady, it was known she got married reform or conservative, where we know the witness, it wasn't kosher, okay, so that's an easier way to say, yeah, okay, it was known it wasn't kosher. But if it looked kosher, now you're going to really dissect and see, was that witness shomer Shabbat or not, whatever, that he says he doesn't want to open the can of worms of other Kohanim going to do such a thing, etc. Sorry? Can a woman not want to accept a get, you mean? So technically, if a woman doesn't accept a get, she's not divorced, right? And it could cause problems. Yeah. It definitely could cause problems to the man. Not as much problems as the other way around. Meaning, technically, according to the letter of the law, a man could get married to more than one wife, technically by the letter of the law. So now, a lady that's holding out. There was once a case. There was once a case that we'll go off topic, but it's within the same topic. There was once a case where a lady ran away from the husband, and there was a little bit involved with it, and he wanted to give her a get. She ran away. We didn't know where she was. We ended up finding out she was in Dallas and whatever. So in this case, there's two avenues. If the person was Ashkenazi, the person was Sephardic, but if the person was Ashkenazi, Ashkenazim have a tradition from Rabbeinu Gershom about 1,000 years ago that they accepted upon themselves not to marry more than one wife. Unless, and there's now the caveat is unless you get 100 rabbis to sign that you could get married to the second wife. For whatever, it must be a good reason if 100 rabbis are signing it. It's heter mea rabbanim. So in this case, when a lady runs away and we can't find her, that's where we could use heter mea rabbanim for this man to marry a second wife. So that lady can't do that. She can't marry a second husband or anything like that. So she really needs to get the get. So if a guy's holding out, it's much worse for her. For girls holding out, they could do this. For Sfaradim, we accept upon ourselves in the ketubah as a shavua, as an oath that I'm not going to marry a second wife. So we have it in our ketubah. So if a girl runs away and she doesn't, and we don't know where she is to give her get, like the guy wants to give her get, he wants to move on with his life, but he has this shavua that he took upon himself. So it sounds easy, but he could do hatarat nedarim. He could do hatarat shavua and undo in front of a bet din his shavua. He took upon himself an oath that I'm not going to marry a second wife. If she's not here, I don't know where she is. So he could, in front of the bet din, he could undo that oath. Rabbi Avad Yosef does say, though, that he has to wait at least 18 months to, I'm not sure why he gets 18 months, but enough time that he researched and looked into where is she and tried an effort, not like one day she runs out and now he goes and marries a second wife, right? So it's got to be enough time. But basically, it's easier. There is a way out if a lady holds out. But if a man holds out and doesn't give a lady a get, then she really needs to get the get. Okay, with that question and answer, we'll end for today, and we'll continue with more such halachot tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem. Mincha today at 4:30, and Gemara shiur tonight at 8:30. Have a good day, everyone.